Hey guys, welcome back to my channel Rewind That. It's your girl Miss K. If this is your first time coming across my channel, welcome. I do hope you consider hitting that subscribe button. Make sure you also hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this one. Thank you so much for my day ones and the people that have been riding with me thus far, and also a special shout out to my new subscribers. Thank you so much. All right, so today we're going to be going over the latest episode of The Chi season 3, episode number 8, called French Room. Okay, so in this episode, it's just one location, right? That's Dre and Nina's house, right? Or should I say Nina and Dre's house? Okay, so there was a lot of important things going on in this episode, so it was kind of hard for me to skip over things. So I'm hoping that this video won't be too long. All right, anyway, so let's start. The episode starts off with Nina and Dre bringing Keisha home. She walks into her room and they tell her that it's just the way she left it. But Keisha notices right away that there's a picture out of place. So she picks it up and returns it to where she had it. So Dre apologizes for things being a little out of place. She tells Keisha that they tried to clean up before she came home. Because, of course, they're not going to tell her that they were starting to pack her stuff up. You know what I'm saying? Thanks to Dre. Anyway, Nina tries to hug Keisha, but Keisha was pretty jumpy about it. She didn't seem like she wanted anybody to touch her, so Nina let it be. Anyway, Nina and Dre leave Keisha's room. Then Keisha quickly makes sure that her window is locked. She puts a chair under the doorknob, then grabs some scissors and sits on the floor. So we pretty much see that Keisha is shook, right? And she's definitely going through it, okay? And is completely traumatized. So it's 3 days later and Keisha has not come out of her room. It's not exactly clear if she was in the room for 3 days without coming out to use the bathroom, but we know that for the past 2 months, Keisha has been using a bedpan to relieve herself. So it wouldn't be impossible for her to have locked herself in her room for 3 days straight without coming out. Anyway, Dre tells Nina that she really thinks Keisha should talk to someone. She should see a therapist. And Nina says, I don't think she wants to see anyone. And besides, she said nothing happened. So Dre says, she's lying. You heard what the doctor said. So Nina basically tells Dre that she's not going to call Keisha a liar and that she's been traumatized enough. So then Keisha comes out of her room to use the bathroom, but Kev is in there. So she tells him, she said, come on, Kevin, I got to use the bathroom, right? But Kev is like, I just got in here. So Nina steps in and tells Kevin to come out. But when Keisha gets in there, she runs the shower and just sits on the toilet. And this is not the last time we will see her doing this, okay? I'm not sure why she's pretending to take a shower, but it's a shame that Kev can't fully use the bathroom just so Keisha could go in there to sit on the toilet and waste water. Now, maybe Keisha was also traumatized about washing up because of Omari giving her a bath. I don't know. So while Keisha's in the bathroom listening to her family fussing, Kevin tells his mom that he's going to go hang out with Jake and Papa. So Nina says, first of all, since when do you tell me what you finna do? Then she tells him that since Keisha is home, she just thinks it's a good idea for everyone to stay close for a little while. So Kev gets upset and walks away, right? He goes into his room. And then we see Keisha in the bathroom and she's looking in the mirror at herself. When she removes her robe, she has bruises all over her upper torso. They were on her back, arms, and chest. So Omari was really putting Keisha through it, okay? Raping her and physically abusing her, which I did not know that. I did not think that Omari was like beating on her, but I'm not surprised either. Then Keisha goes into her room and starts vacuuming. So Dre says, is she vacuuming? I ain't never known her to vacuum nothing. And I was like, well, how long have you known her though, Dre? Like, see, that's the problem with Dre, right? She be acting like she been around these kids all their lives. Anyway, Dre goes into Keisha's room to ask if she's hungry, and Keisha says, no, I'm good. So Dre unplugs the vacuum and tells Keisha that she really thinks she should see somebody. And Nina is over there looking like, girl, what are you doing? So Nina says, you don't have to talk to anybody until you're good and ready. So we clearly see that Nina and Dre are not on the same page, and they won't be throughout this entire episode. So the ladies leave Keisha's room and she goes on her laptop and pulls up an article about Omari, which reads, kidnapper killed in daring escape. Next, While Dre continues to tell Nina that Keisha needs to go to therapy, they get a knock on the door and it's Keisha's friend Tammy. Nina wants to know what the girl is doing there, and Dre says, I invited her. So they let Tammy in and escort her to Keisha's room. And Tammy was like, hey girl, so glad you ain't dead. And I'm like, wow, how awkward can you be? Anyway, Keisha closes the door and Nina starts in on Dre, okay? She says, you could have asked. And Dre was like, now I gotta ask your permission before I do something? And Nina says, when it comes to my kids, yes. So Dre was like, how long do we have to be married before they become our kids? So Nina says, I just want to talk about things first. Then Dre responds, if we talk about it, you're just going to say no. So let's stop here for a moment, okay? I believe that Dre has good intentions. If there's no secret out there about Dre and she really is just this woman that Nina married out of the blue, then I will say that I believe she means well. But she's a bit overzealous with it, okay? If we go back to the first episode on their wedding day when Keisha expressed that she didn't like Dre, she also mentioned that Dre just be doing too much, right? And we are also seeing this for ourselves. Dre is doing the most, and she's doing a lot of overstepping. I also get that Dre wants to be involved in the kids' lives, but some things she has to let Nina handle, especially since she only just came into their lives. Anyway, so we heard Dre, right? She says to Nina, if we talk about things, you're just going to say no. So what she's basically saying is that she's going to make decisions on what she feels is best, regardless of what Nina says. So to me, this also shows us that Dre is controlling as well. Anyway, Keisha and Tammy's visit goes south when Keisha brings up an article about Tammy talking to the press. In the article, Tammy stated that Keisha was her girl, but you hear all these rumors and don't know what to think. So Tammy tells Keisha that she was in a mood that day because she was on her period. Plus, Keisha keeps things from her. Tammy tells Keisha that she didn't want to act like Keisha was all innocent and she ends up looking dumb. So Keisha says, I don't keep stuff from you. And Tammy was like, you didn't tell me you were screwing the track coach. So Keisha says, I was protecting you. And Tammy was like, B, please. So Keisha kicks Tammy out of her room and even walks her to the front door, okay? And by the way, Nina was by the door listening to Tammy and Keisha argue. And I kind of feel sorry for Nina because it's like, she's going to find out just how fast her daughter was before all this kidnapping stuff went down. Anyway, so Nina says, what happened? And Keisha says, nothing. I can't wait to go to college. So unfortunately, Nina and Dre have to break it to Keisha that the school gave away her scholarship. And I was like, wow, that's so messed up. It's not like she did something wrong, the girl was kidnapped. But then again, the rumors might have taken its toll. So you don't know what people were believing, including the school. Anyway, I'd also like to point out that Nina has been sleeping on the couch. So I think this has nothing to do with not wanting to sleep in the bed with Dre and more to do with the fact that she wants to be able to keep up with what Keisha's doing. And since the living room is basically like the center of their apartment or where you could see everything, not necessarily the center, but it's where you could see everything, like the whole apartment. So because of that, this is the best place for Nina to be. Anyway, next, Kev asks if Jake and Papa could come over. And when Nina finally says yes, thanks to Keisha, Kev walks to the front door and opens it. And his friends are right there, okay? Like there was no knock or nothing. I had to laugh at this part, but I would have been a little mad at my son for inviting folks over first, then asking me after the fact. Anyway, while the boys go to Kev's room to hang out and get high, Jada and Emmett stop by with some food. So Emmett goes to Kevin's room to ask about Keisha. Kev tells him that Keisha has been acting weird. And Jake says, you would be acting weird if a dude kidnapped and molested you too. And Kev says, how you know she got molested? And Papa chimes in and says, that's what I heard. So Emmett tells the boys that all that matters is that she's alive. He then tells Kev that he was going to holler at Keisha, but Nina made it seem as if she was asleep. So Kev was like, man, she ain't asleep. She probably in there staring at the wall. That's all she does when I walk in there. So next, Jada, Dre, and Nina are talking. And Nina asks Jada if she's ever treated a girl in Keisha's condition. So Dre tells them not exactly, but she has treated girls that were sexually assaulted by their partners, and their behaviors vary. Some are withdrawn, or some lash out. Then Emmett comes out and knocks on Keisha's door. When he sees Keisha, he gives her a hug, and she lets him. Now notice that earlier she didn't allow her own mother to give her a hug, but she let Emmett. Now we all know that Keisha and Emmett have a special bond, but what kind of feelings does she have toward her mother is what I want to know. Anyway, Emmett and Keisha talk, and he catches her up on what's going on, including the fact that he slept with Dom and bought Sonny out. Now, Keisha tells Emmett that she's proud of him, but I wonder how proud she would be if she knew all the details. Because Emmett kind of made it seem like he worked something out with Sonny and bought him out. Anyway, Keisha tells Emmett that she never thought coming home would be this hard. After Emmett asks her what she means by this, Keisha tells him that she sees what people are saying about her online, and it really hurts. Emmett tells her not to read those things, and Keisha says, "How could I not?" And Emmett says, "People just like to talk." Then Keisha tells Emmett that she feels like she's never going to be the same. And Emmett says, "You're not." But Keisha says, "I want to be." Then Emmett tells her that whatever happened is over and that she's going to have to find a way to move on. And see, this is why I like Emmett, okay? And why I was so disappointed in what he did to Sonny. You know, he came in, he was able to make Keisha feel better, and he didn't put no pressure on her or anything like that. And she wanted him to stay, and she just wanted him to talk to her. You know what I mean? So when you see how good he is with Keisha, and then you see what he did to Sonny, which was so grimy, it's really disappointing. Anyway, next, Drake continues to nag Nina about getting Keisha some help. So Nina says, "I don't want to force her to do anything she doesn't want to do." So Dre says, "Sometimes people have to be pushed, babe." And as we can see, this is definitely Dre's MO, okay? She's been pushy this entire episode, and it was getting on my nerves, as you guys could see, right? But let's take a step back and try to look at it from Dre's point of view. In last week's episode, the doctor told her that it would be good for Keisha to see someone. She also told Dre to watch for signs of suicide. So Dre, as overbearing as she is, she's probably just trying to get a handle on things before they get out of control, right? Or before they get worse. But I think instead of her trying to be pushy and controlling, she should get someone else to talk Keisha into seeing a therapist. If she was smart, she would have used Emmett. But she doesn't know Keisha well enough to know that her and Emmett are that close, right? I mean, Keisha's own mama probably don't even know that. Anyway, so now that we've looked at things from Dre's point of view, Nina's perspective is a little different, because when she asked Dre if she's ever been sexually violated, Dre said no. And Nina's response was, "Then you have no idea what it's like." So instead of having empathy, Dre says, just because you're still broken doesn't mean she has to be. So Nina didn't even have any energy to respond. You know what I mean? She's probably just looking at it like, I just don't have the energy to go back and forth with this woman. So we also see that Nina has been a victim of being sexually violated or assaulted. So she has a more understanding approach. Now, since Dre doesn't get it, I think she needs to fall all the way back. Next, Emmett gets Keisha to come out and eat some food at the table, and she's laughing with Emmett, and everyone hears it and comes out to eat as well. Then Papa does the stupidest thing, okay? He gives Keisha the tips he made from Omari. And she was like, "I don't want that." I mean, I understand that Papa thought he was doing something good, but it was just stupid, and it killed the vibe completely, because Keisha starts lashing out at her family and asks them why they took so long to find her when she was just right up the street. So Dre says, "How were we supposed to know that Negro was crazy?" Then Kev said, "I almost got killed trying to find you." Then Papa said, "Yeah, we went to a trap house and everything." So Keisha was like, "Why would I be at a trap house?" So Kev says, "Maybe because your boyfriend was there. And if you wasn't out here on the streets, maybe we would have called the cops earlier." So Nina says, "Kev, that's enough." So Kev is like, "No, forget that. I'm always lying for you. I've lied to protect you. If you wasn't out here trying to be all grown, maybe this wouldn't have happened." Then Keisha stands up and says, "So this is my fault?" So Nina has to step in, and she sends Kev to his room, and he's like, "Why do I gotta go to my room?" And when are y'all going to tell her that you packed up her stuff? I'm like, oh my gosh, Kev is just blowing everything up, huh? So after hearing this, Keisha was like, wow, she was hurt by it. And then she walked away and went back to her room. So while Nina is yelling at Kevin, telling him he needs to apologize, Papa and Jake decide it's time to go. Then Emmett says to Jada that he thinks they should leave too, but Jada says you go ahead because she wants to stay behind and talk to Keisha. Also, before we move on, I found it irritating once again that Dre was in the room while Nina was talking to Kevin. It's like she really needs to learn how to stay out of things when it comes to how Nina deals with her children, and that's just my opinion. Next, Jada goes to Keisha's room to talk to her. She tells Keisha not to let the world tell her story and that healing is a personal journey in which she has to figure out what works best for her. So Keisha asks Jada a few questions like, when does it stop and what am I supposed to do? And Jada answered honestly. She tells Keisha that she doesn't know, but she has to reclaim the light inside of her. Keisha then tells her that she wants to be left alone. And Jada says, you can't be alone forever. Then when Jada shares her own story of being sexually violated by a family member, Keisha seemed to pay more attention to what Jada had to say. Because, before Keisha kind of had like a little attitude. Like, if you can't help me, why are you here? Okay, anyway, then Jada tells Keisha that this was the reason she got into social work, because she hated the feeling of not having someone to turn to. She says that she decided she'd be that somebody young girls could talk to when they were violated. So Keisha says, when do you start to feel normal again? And Jada says, if you're waiting to feel normal again, you're going to be waiting a long time. So before we move on, I'd just like to say, since when did Jada become a social worker? I thought this chick was a nurse, okay? And, we saw her take care of Miss Ethel. We saw her with the patient at the hospital. So please, if I've missed something, somebody help me, please, okay? Help me understand why Jada is now a social worker, all right? Maybe she was one in the past. I don't know. Or maybe she's a nurse who specializes in this area. I don't know. But it's very confusing and it's almost irritating because it's like, did y'all really try to pull one over on us and try to play us like we're some dummies? Knowing daggone well for the past 2 seasons and earlier in this season, we saw that Jada was a nurse. So where did this social working crap come from? Anyway, the conversation with Jada must have really helped Keisha because she took a bath the next day and she seemed a little relieved. Next, Ronnie stops by because Keisha asked him to. She asks Ronnie if Omari is really dead and he says, mm-hmm. So Keisha says, I had to kill him, right? And Ronnie says, you did what you had to do. So Keisha says, then why is he haunting me? Every time I close my eyes, I see him. So Ronnie says, that's the way it is. I killed someone and I see his face every day. And of course we know he's talking about Coogie. Anyway, Keisha just wants to know if things will get better. Ronnie tells her that he can't answer that. So she says, how is it for you? And Ronnie says, it's been a long road, but you've been a light at the end of the tunnel. He tells Keisha to promise that she won't drown her sorrows in brown liquor. And she says, I promise. Then she says, thank you. And Ronnie says, I should be thanking you. And Keisha says, why? Ronnie tells her, you gave my life meaning. Then he gets up, gives everyone respectable nods, and leaves. And once again, no hugs for Ronnie. No hugs for the man who saved your daughter, Nina. Anyway, Keisha then goes to her room and gathers all her slutty clothes and burns them in the tub, like Left Eye did, okay? R.I.P. Left Eye. And I was happy it didn't burn the house down. So Nina comes in and tries to stop it, but Keisha says no. So Nina says, you think burning your clothes is going to make you feel better? And Keisha says, maybe I wouldn't have got kidnapped if I wasn't wearing this stuff. So Nina says, none of this is your fault. I don't care if you was walking down the street butt naked. Nobody has the right to put their hands on you. Then she says, I'm sorry I wasn't there to save you. And Keisha says, it's okay, Ma. I've learned how to save myself. Then we see that Dre and Nina are taking Keisha to therapy. So that was the last scene, guys. And hopefully therapy will really help Keisha, okay? I also do believe that the conversation that she had with Jada also helped her to decide that she's going to go to therapy, because Jada did stress that it was so important for her to want to speak to somebody, and also important for her to be that person that other women can go to talk, right? Talking is very important. Keeping it bottled up inside is not good, which is something that Dre was trying to tell Nina as well. Like I said, as much as Dre was being a pain in the behind, it's not like the things she was saying was wrong. It's just that her approach is just, it's not it. Okay, it's not it. Anyway, I also want to say that if Nina shares her story with Keisha about her situation being sexually violated, I do believe that it might also bring them closer as mother and daughter. So I do think that that is something that she should do, because I kind of have this feeling that they're just not close. You know what I mean? There's something going on between them as mother and daughter. And there might also be some type of grudge or hard feelings that Keisha has towards her mother. I don't know. But anyway, that was the episode, guys. And that's the video for today. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me. Sorry if it was a little lengthy, but it was a lot. It was a very deep episode. And art imitates life, you know what I mean? So we know that these things really happen to people. And I totally believe that Lena is just trying to convey a message, and I respect her for that. And I really hope that people are seeing that it really helps to talk to somebody and not to just deal with this horror all by yourself, because it just can drive folks crazy, and it could cause them to end their lives, you know, when they could actually be helping other people overcome this horrible experience. All right. Anyway, thank you so much, guys, for joining me. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this one. You guys take care and be blessed. I can't wait to read your comments. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.